If you're thinking about buying the Canon R50 V, I actually think Canon has made one of the best compact mirrorless cameras going. And for the price, it's hard to beat. The spec on this camera is actually better than most of the cameras I started my career with. Well, not even most, all. Don't get me wrong, this camera holds its own, for sure. So yeah, like I said, I went out, I shot with it, and I'm gonna show you some example images, some example video. Spec is important, but it's not everything. I mean, it's nice to have 4K, but does it matter if it's a 6K oversampled or just a 4K? I mean, probably not. I guarantee you, if you shot everything in 1080 and your story was incredible, your engagement would be the same. I actually believe that audio is more important than visual, but each their own. All right, specs. So we are looking at a 24.2 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor. Now that is a 1.6 crop. Let's just talk 50 mil. So 50 mil on a full frame is 50 mil. And then when you go on to something like an APS-C sensor, which the sensor is much smaller, it zooms, it actually just uses the center of that lens, and then it becomes like a 70 or 72 millimeter. Today, I'm gonna actually shoot everything on this little guy. This is the Canon R50 V. It's a APS-C size sensor, and doesn't look quite right with this 24-70 on it, but anyway, that's how it is. And yeah, so everything I shoot today is gonna be on this guy. We've got to wrap that thing and ship it today, so the biggest bubble wrap you've ever seen. So let's get to it. That is done. I have wrapped that, got to load it in the car, and I've got to drop it off to get it shipped. So, see ya. Life's tight. If you're a van company and you're looking for an ambassador, hit me. I need a van. So you wouldn't believe it, but here I am. I'm actually in Manly, and I'm still running this R50 V. So it's got the 14 to 35 on it, which 14 to 35 on an APS-C sensor works out to be around that 24 to 70. So it is that walk around length. So I'm gonna go walk around, get a couple of shots. We're looking at a 4K, does up to 30p with no crop, and that's an oversampled, so that's a 6K oversample. I mean, I shoot in 25 frames, and you should probably be in 24 frames if you're not in Australia or in the Asia Pacific. Then it can do, yeah, obviously 4K 50 and 4K 60, and that comes with a 1.5 crop. So again, if you are on a 50mm, which is 70, and then you go into the 4K 50, your crop is even longer again. Something to be mindful of. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it's just something that you need to know. Slow motion, it'll do up to 120p in 1080, and then also, or 100. Now when it comes to color, this has C-Log 3, and it's a 422 10-bit, and it all comes down from there, so you can go 420, 10-bit, 420, 8-bit, and so on. I feel like Canon's taken a leaf out of Fuji's book here, and they have created some internal color presets. So being a creator camera, this camera is set up to be able to shoot and then send to your phone. I feel like this camera is your stop from shooting on your phone to wanting a camera. This camera is the perfect next step, because you can still take it off camera onto your phone and do all your editing. You don't have to be, you know, editing in a suite like Premiere or Lightroom or Capture One. You can just do it all off camera. Me, I have all those things turned off. I have Bluetooth turned off, Wi-Fi turned off, all that, because it saves battery. Every time you Bluetooth's on, it's trying to find Bluetooth and it's wasting your battery. It doesn't have any in-body stabilization, which I don't think is a problem. The only downside to that is this body is really light. So if you are out there shooting like this, it's gonna be shaky. But you put a big heavy lens on it and you hold the lens, it's not a problem. So storage, it is a storage and battery all in the same spot, and it just takes a single SD card, which I'm a bit hesitant to, like, that's one of the reasons you couldn't run this as an A-cam, because, I mean, each their own, but I run everything redundant. So I double card and everything is dual card. So everything goes to 2 cards. So if I ever get a file corruption or whatever, I just can take it off the second card. Not that that happens very often. SD cards and CF Express cards are just that good these days. Let's talk autofocus. It's incredible. Canon's autofocus is second to none. I know Sony is right there, and but you can't go wrong. Face detection, eye detection, it just works. I don't know that I even need to show you. Everyone does the, you know, will it track my face? It will track your face. That's what it does. They're fantastic. I don't think you get any mirrorless camera in any market, the autofocus is going to be acceptable. Anything that was made by Canon, it's going to be incredibly good, and then Sony, they're right there as well. So I don't think I even need to talk to you about autofocus. It does a great job. That's all you need to know. Don't even think about it. It's fantastic. The ports on the side, you get a headphone jack, a remote for remote trigger, which is what I used in my housing. It has a HDMI out, but it is the mini HDMI, which, you know, the internet will tell you that's the worst thing in the world, but if you're gonna put a HDMI in here, you're probably gonna have a cage on this thing, you're probably gonna lock that off so it's not gonna fall out. Also has a single USB-C port, which you can use for charging, so you can charge while recording, so therefore you can run it off mains power, or you could run it off like a power bank, or you could run it off a D-tap or a V-lock, or, you know, take your pick. means that you could actually rig this out and have it on in a rig, and you'd never have to worry about changing out your battery. You may have to change out your card, so you still got to access it. Put it in this water housing. It's not the right plate or anything, but it fits and it triggers, so I reckon I'll go have a little swim. Let's put a 50mm on it. So this is a 50mm 1.8. Now, that will make it about a 75. So it's a 1.5 times on an APS-C, so this is going to be fairly long, but that's good. Also, I'm going to do both photo and video, but because my backplate doesn't have any dials, I'm not going to be able to swap the dials here. So I'm going to start in photo, do a bit of a session, and then I'll come in, try the housing, and then I'll put it in video, and then I'll go again.
Alright, should do it. Let's have a swim.
Is the camera right for you? That's the question.
Beautiful morning, the sun is shining. Well, it's actually a bit hidden behind these clouds, but it'll get there. Bit of a brisk start. Oh, there's a couple. Let's get the drone up in the sky and get some shots. That's probably it. Got a bit of cloud cover, the sun's sort of tucked away, so call it for this morning. What a beautiful start though.
But before we get into the menu, I want to bring this on-off button. So on is forward and off is back. I actually feel like it should be the other way around. Off should be forward and on should be back. I constantly turn this camera off thinking I'm turning it on, but actually don't tell anyone, but I just kind of just left it on the whole time. It actually just times out and goes to sleep, and then pretty good. Now, one of the things that I have struggled with this camera is the menu. So if you're a Canon user, which you're probably not if you're thinking about getting this camera, because it's probably more of a first time camera, so maybe the menu, you may not find the menu difficult, but because I've come from like cinema cameras, and also just I've had, you know, Canon full frame bodies for a long time, I am used to the Canon menu, but this one is a little different. So your quick menu is a little different. The quick menu on the camera I'm on right now, which is the R6 Mark II, it's very easy to navigate, and often changing settings in the quick menu is very easy. But what I find with the R50 V is the quick menu is a little bit hard to work out what I'm doing. I mean, all the settings are there, they're just laid out different, which I find a little difficult just because I'm used to a certain menu. So if you haven't come from the Canon ecosystem, I'm sure you'll find this menu easy. Well, you won't find it easy at first, but you'll get to know it, and that's something to be mindful of. The other thing that I find hard in the menu is if you actually go into the menu and you want to change your frame rate, it's a bit cumbersome to get to that. Like, you have to actually put it into the 4K crop mode to get it into 50 frames. Whereas I feel like it would make more sense if you just chose the frame rate and then it made the crop for you. So you have your options there where you just choose 25 or 50 or 24, 30 and 60, and the 60 and the 50 crop and then the others don't, and you don't have to worry about that.
So a friend of mine just said they're out surfing, so I might just check it. It's half decent. I might go have a little swim, maybe get a couple of shots. So let's see how we go. Oh, it looks good. I'm going out there. I'll rig up my housing. When it comes to water housings, I choose Aquatech. I'm not sponsored in any way. If you want to send me some gear, I'd love that. But I have a pretty simple philosophy. I choose brands based on the fact that this is what they do. Aquatech are one of the best at water housing, so why would I not go with who makes the best equipment? I put my R6 Mark II in my housing purely because, I mean, it is going in water, so you don't want to kind of use your A cam. So the 6.2 is a really great camera for this. So I'll get it all rigged up, which I'm currently talking on, so I have to change to another camera.
What I actually did was I set up each of the video custom buttons to a different resolution and frame rate. So the main video is 4K 422 10-bit C-Log, 25 frames a second, and then if I go to C1, that's set at 4K 50 frames 422 10-bit in C-Log. And then if you go to custom 2, I have that set up as a 4K 25 frames in a neutral picture profile, so not in log. Purely so if you wanted to shoot something and not be in log, you just put it on number 3, it's in 25 frames. If you don't want that, you have to obviously modify it. And I also have the slow fast, which is the S and F. I actually have set to a time lapse. So I have it set to 2 frames a second. And then so I go to that and it just, you press record and it creates a time lapse in camera. One of the other things I do like about this camera, one of my favorite things actually, is when you're in photo mode, and this is good for all you new creators, the auto or the mode you're in is actually set on the screen. So, you know, on the camera I'm using right now, the R6 Mark II, if you put the camera in auto, like full auto, the dial is set to A. And so, now if you've ever been on a commercial job or any sort of shoot, if you have your camera in A, there'll be people, they'll know. And they'll think, hey, why is this in A? And now let me tell you, auto does a fantastic job. Like, really, really great. So there really isn't a problem with auto. I use certain auto settings depending on what I'm doing. But one of the things I do love about this is that you can just set your mode here. So if I wanted to go auto, you just press auto, and now the camera's in full auto, but you can't tell when you look at it, so you actually have to know. And I just think that takes away just one of the pressures while you're on a job. If you want to be run, because if you're coming from a phone to a camera, auto is probably where you want to be, because you may not understand the triangle, you know, shutter, aperture, ISO, and they all have to, you know, work with each other. So that was actually one of the things I did like about this camera, the fact that you could just run it in auto and it wouldn't look like you are. And then the camera does a great job. Anyway, not the point. I have mine in M because whatever, that's just how I like it. But when I have it in M, sometimes I'll run just an auto ISO, depending on what it is. So if I'm inside, like at a venue or inside, you know, I'll have my shutter set to say 200th of a second or 250 if I don't have a flash on, because to capture slow moving motion, it needs to be above sort of 160, so 200 is a safe number. So I'll lock it at, like, let's say lock it at 200, then I'll have my aperture set to whatever I want. Maybe it's, you know, 2.8 or 1.4 or doesn't matter. And then I just let my ISO even out that exposure. So when you turn one way, bang, ISO, turn the other way, sorts it. So that's actually one of the things I do think is really great about this camera, is that you just get that auto sort of setting without looking like you're in auto. And let me tell you something about the creative industry. It's all perception. Let that sink in. I could go and shoot a job on this. Absolutely I could. I know I could. But if I turned up and was like, all right guys, we're gonna shoot this, and I was using this size camera, people would be like, why are we paying this guy? But if you're looking to do content or your own content, or you're looking to branch from phone to content, this is the gap. This is the stopgap. You get this guy or girl, depending on, you know, who you are. It's gonna do all the things you need to. This could be one of those perfect winter's days. Here I am at, this is Avoca down here, and this is north Avoca. Just having a quick adventure. I might just hang out at my canoe, and maybe I'll fly from here, so it's probably not a bad spot. It's just so beautiful. I might go have a swim myself. Let's go gear up the housing, eh? Simple promise. When nothing stays the way it seems. Where did she go? I swear she was just here, running the show, so unafraid. Wish I could go back to those days. Where did she go? Well, that was fun. There you go. That is my moderately in-depth rundown of the Canon R50 V. I actually think this camera packs an amazing punch for what you're getting. Obviously there's better cameras out there, but for the price, I think it's hard to beat. I believe I could probably do most of my work on this camera. Obviously it doesn't have redundant cards, and it's an APS-C, so there are some low light issues. But today, these, you know, every application has denoise or, you know, one of those sorts of options. So there's always going to be some sort of workaround. If you are thinking about getting this camera, my recommendation is yes, 100% pick it up. You won't regret it. Once you outgrow it, this is going to become a great B cam. So, you know, until you actually know what you want out of a camera, this is the perfect start. And then once you do know, you'll say, oh, I need to have this camera because of this. And then this camera can become your B cam. And let me tell you something about a B cam. It's amazing having a B cam that matches your A cam. If your codec and your color profile can all match, it's just so much easier in post. For a while I was dealing with 2 different camera brands, and I was constantly trying to match one to the other, and just so that when you cut from one to the other, it didn't look so polar opposite. That is it, that's my review. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And thanks. I'll see you in the next one. I think that went well.